Editing is one of the most important parts of a YouTube video. After all, if it sucks, viewers won't watch. There's millions of other videos for people to enjoy. And these are my YouTube shorts. They don't get a lot of views, but every video has comments saying that the viewers love the editing. Thanks for the compliments, by the way. But what exactly makes up my editing? In this video, I want to take you through exactly how I make my YouTube shorts and how you can adapt my style to be your own. Let's get into it. My style can be split into 4 steps. Step 1 is the idea. I neglected this part of the process for so long, and it led to subpar shorts that honestly hurt my channel in the long run. You want every piece of content to be interesting, so a viewer likes what they see, no matter which video they click on. If you scroll back through my shorts or some of my long-form videos, you can see that I didn't always prioritize the idea, and the views reflect it. So find a good idea. If it doesn't get views, it's a bad idea. I know that sounds cruel, but that's YouTube. In addition, you should be coming up with the title of your video before you even start the script or the recording. Which leads me to step 2. Step 2 is scripting and research. Obviously, the research part doesn't apply to everyone, but my most recent and successful shorts have all been video essays, art history sort of things, so they take a lot of research on my end. Then, it's all about compacting that research into a script that gets right to the point. And it helps if you know the direction that you want your editing to take so that you can write the script to match that. My scripts always start out with a simple hook, like, did you know or have you heard of, to make the viewer wonder what they're missing and give them a psychological need to watch the rest of the video. Step 3 is recording. This step should be the easiest step by far because you've already planned it out. So all you should have to do is sit down and press record and just read through the script. Sometimes you might need to practice confidence a little beforehand if you're not comfortable speaking to a camera, but other than that, this should be really easy. Also, don't get attached to your first script. You may record and realize that your script didn't flow how it should, so don't be afraid to change it or just outright start over. Get in the mindset of thinking like a random viewer who doesn't care about your video, because when you look at it, you may be too proud to realize that it does need rewriting. Anyway, after you're done recording comes step 4, the actual editing. Before we start with this, I want you to make sure that you get the notion out of your head that you need a specific video editing software or you need an expensive one, anything like that. Pretty much anything will do for your video editing needs. I use LumaFusion, which is an app on my iPad, but anything works really. The only features you really need to replicate my style are some sort of splitting and cutting, and you also need a program that utilizes keyframes. A lot of people use CapCut, which is a free editor that has keyframes, and you can get it on your phone or PC. Again, my software of choice is LumaFusion, which costs a bit of money, but it's not a subscription like some software. Adobe. Oh, something in my throat. So now that we're ready to actually edit, let's hop over to LumaFusion or just your video editor of choice. Okay, so here we are in LumaFusion, and as you can see, I've already got my clip in here and kind of cut up. But the first thing you want to do is import your clip, your video clip, and cut it so that the conversation flows how you would want it to in the video. Don't add any effects or anything extra until you have the clip cut up how you want it. A key point of my style is that I always kind of teleport into frame when the video starts, so I'll kind of outline that real quick. As we can see, it starts with an empty chair, and then we just have me jumping into the chair. So if I bring this up here real quick, we can rewind this back a little bit and see that literally I'm just dropping into the chair. So let's undo that, and I generally cut the clip so that it's right when my momentum is picking up. So I'm just falling out of thin air. It sort of helps with the transition. Next, I like to add some zoom ins. I always start with a hook, so if we play this real quick. Did you know about the artist that went insane after? You can see I've already added a bit of an effect here. I always do a zoom right after or right at the climax of the hook. So it's sort of like the hook to the hook, if you will. So adding a visual hook to the audio hook. I think that it helps to make the video engaging and not get boring after a few seconds. Then after we've said the hook, I transition into sort of an animated segment. As you can see, I have not done that yet. But I wanted to add that when I record those parts that are going to be animated, I don't focus on looking at the screen or memorizing the script. I just switch to looking right down at the script on my iPad below and just reading the script so that I can get it right and we can move on. Anyway, let's go ahead and add our animated portion. So we're going to go to overlay title, and again, this is different for different software, but you just need to do something similar. We're going to turn the overlay title into a shape. Make the rectangle fill the screen, and then go back to your keyframes and size and position here. So what we're going to do is go down here and add a keyframe, and then go forward about 6 milliseconds, 6 or 7. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then go back to the first keyframe and make it start off screen so that it slides into frame. That way, after my hook, it sort of just slides in there. Did you know about the artist that went insane after a breakup? In 19... Perfect. So then you just do the same thing with like all of the different effects you want to add. Just keep in mind that when you're adding different effects and visual elements, you're essentially retention editing. With shorts, people are ready to swipe away at any moment, so you need to have the screen constantly changing to keep them engaged. Don't go overboard with it because then it's just annoying and people don't want to watch. Anyway, I'm going to fast forward while I do all that because it usually takes me a good amount of time. Okay, so here we are. I have done my effects. You can see that I've added some opacity to my white screen so that when it comes in, it sort of is see-through for a moment before it's actually finally there. Then we've got my usual, we've got people coming in. Again, just keyframe these guys in. You can see how I've added some rotation in there to make it a little more interesting and alive feeling. And I've also got, if you look down here, something is changing every less than a second to keep the user engaged. But it's not overboard either, I'm just adding to what's already there. You also kind of want to tell a story and do it in a funny way that doesn't require too much brain power for the user, because people watching shorts are ready to swipe away at any moment when they get bored. But after you've done all this, you pretty much have a fully made video visually. Next thing I like to do is audio. I start with the music and then the sound effects. So let's go ahead and add some music in there. Side note, I love to use classical music, not because I'm crazy about classical music or anything, but classical music is all in the public domain because it's old, which means there's no copyright on it. And classical music was made to convey emotion, which is good because that's what the music does in your video. So if I just go ahead and add my music, can't really snap with this glove on, but you get the idea. Anyway, we have music down here now. Like I said, I use classical music, and I also don't use the same song throughout. I usually start with one song and then transition into another. So let's go ahead and play that and just see how much better it sounds when I have music in there. Did you know about the artist that went insane after a breakup? In 1912, Austrian... Okay, but you can see that in the spot where I transition from one song to another, it's not clean at all. And there's a couple ways you can fix this. I'm a little bit lazy about it, but I think it works really well. This is where the sound effects come in. When I'm transitioning from one song to another, I usually put a sound effect that ties into the hook right here. So let's go ahead and play the hook back. Did you know about the artist that went insane after a breakup? So obviously, talking about someone going insane, that's pretty insane. So I'm going to add like a record scratch sound to have the music stop, or maybe I'll do a what sound or something like that. So let's go ahead and add that in there. So now when we play it back, insane after a breakup? In 1912, the huh sound kind of masks the fact that we have no music right here, which works really well. After you've done all of these things, you basically have a finished video. For bonus points, I like to export the video and then go into an app called Veed, which is just an AI tool that adds captions to your video automatically. It's very helpful when you're editing, and it just saves so much time. But that stuff is optional, and you could also go in and add captions yourself if you wanted to, because Veed does cost a little bit of money. But with that, let's go ahead and roll the finished video. Did you know about the artist that went insane after a breakup? In 1912, Austrian artist Oskar Kokoschka had an affair with a woman named Alma Mahler. This went on for several years, but she eventually broke things off, saying she was afraid of being overcome with passion. So, of course, his only option was to create a life-size doll of his ex-lover. He would take it to dinner, dance with it, and even bring it to social events. I should probably add, the legitimacy of this story is debated among art historians, but it's certainly a crazy one, and that's why I was wondering... So that was a really quick and simple tutorial of my style. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope it helped. I was really happy to see that people enjoyed my editing style. Also, you guys have shown a crazy amount of support this month. This is the most subscribers I've ever gained at once. Future me, go ahead and put that on screen somewhere. But I essentially went from 500 subscribers this month to 1,000, which was insane. So subscribe if you want to see me hit 2K. Thanks for watching.